How is it that I am able to make a living homesteading full-time and sharing videos on YouTube? What is the right time to wean a calf or a goat kid off of milk? We're going to answer those questions, a whole lot of others about dog training, and whatever else you ask this week on our channel, because it's time for Sunday Q&A. Every Sunday here on Homesteady, we try to answer your questions that you've left on our videos. If you want to get a question answered on Sunday Q&A, it's pretty easy. All you have to do is ask us a question in the comments below, and then make sure to hashtag it #AskHomesteady, because that will help me find it when I go to do these videos. So don't forget Ask Homesteady. Let's dive into the first question. Isaac wants to know, what are the best breed of goats for meat and milk? I like Nubians, great dual purpose animals, that's why we got them. Nicole wants to know, what do we use to butcher our chickens? Nicole will be doing a future video on this. I like to use killing cones to kill the birds in. I like to scald them in hot water, which we usually just use like a Camp Chef stove to boil the water and dunk them. And then to pluck them, I use the power plucker drill bit, chicken plucker. It's cheap and it works. And finally, a couple good knives to eviscerate them, clean them, and then poultry shrink bags are well worth it for shrinking, you know, what do you call that when you put them in a bag, sealing it up product? You know what I'm saying. Poultry shrink bags. That's the equipment we use, and it's worked well over these years. Mary wanted to know when we're planning on having Luna bred. Some people say a year and 2 months, some people say 2 years. More important than the exact date is the growth of your animal, making sure it's the right size to handle breeding. So no hard and fast rule here, but we're going to be shooting for about a year, 15 months is around when we're going to be looking to have Luna bred. In our dog video this week where we talked about dog training, farm dog, a lot of people said I should have mentioned leave it command. Bones does know leave it. It is very handy. Teach a dog leave it, meaning don't touch that, ignore it. It's a great command, and I do feel I should have added that to the video, so you guys were right. Don't forget about teaching your dog leave it. Spiky Dog Caller wanted to know what style of training we used. I did read Dawkins' book. Dawkins' book was great. I also, another question we got asked about dog training, should use a professional dog trainer. If you have never trained a dog before, read a book and get some help from a professional. I don't suggest you send the dog to a professional and then like expect to get a perfect dog back, because you are more important. You need to know how to handle that dog. Instead, go work with a dog trainer. Hire him by the hour once every couple weeks to tell you how you're doing, because a lot of dog training is really people training. So don't send a dog to obedience school and expect this perfect dog back, because you won't be perfect and then it'll be for nothing. Instead, if you've never done it before, hire a professional to teach you and your dog. Just an hour or so a week in the beginning, and then you do the work with your dog. You'll be so much better, it'll work so much better. That's what I did, and I've gotten good at dog training over these years through professionals' help, not because I have any special gift for dog training. That's certainly not the case. One of the best things about having a professional work with you is he'll let you know, wow, you're frustrated. Not good to teach your dog when you're frustrated. It doesn't work. Hey, dogs have bad days. You're having a bad day today. You'll take it less personally, because the professional can let you know, hey, these are normal problems. Don't worry, just skip today and start tomorrow. Pierce says they're getting a puppy in May, but moving to the homestead in the fall. How should they teach the dog kennel or pen or place and other things before they get to the farm? Pierce, most important, if you get the puppy before you're at the farm, expose that puppy to farms. Find a farm that will let you bring the puppy or animals or some situation. Just get them used to lots of things. You don't want to wait till they're older to expose them to the farm. As far as teaching them kennel, get a crate and teach the dog that that's kennel. And that's the best way in the beginning, just to get them crate trained. When you say crate or kennel, the dog goes in the kennel. And then when you move to the new farm, you can put the crate right in the new kennel and problem solved. Tyru said, great video, but the flipping back and forth between shots could cause someone to have a seizure. You'd be surprised how many people have epilepsy. Tyru, I would not be surprised, because my wife had epilepsy. She doesn't anymore, but we have dealt with that, and that was something we dealt with while we were dating. And so I am very aware of epilepsy. However, flashing lights and screens and things never triggered anything for Kay. But Tyru, it seems like you might be dealing with epilepsy from your comments, and I'm sorry to hear that. It's a hard thing to work with, as we know from having lived with it for years. We're fortunate it has gone away through surgery, but I feel for you. I do know people deal with that, and that is a struggle. So I'm sorry if you're dealing with that, Tyru, and we'll keep that in mind in our editing practices. In the video where I milked Luna, I talked about how I don't love milking, and I'm well known for not loving goats. So Phoenix Rising says, you don't like goats and you don't like milking cows. What do you like other than pointing a camera at yourself? Boom! This. So yes, I actually like pointing a camera at myself. Like I said, I like making videos and I like making content. But I love doing a lot of things on the homestead. I love designing the homestead, thinking about the plans for the bigger year. I love making pastures and roads, a lot of the infrastructure, designing and planning and installing. I like fixing the problems of homesteading. I love raising meat animals. I love raising pigs. I love raising meat chickens. I really enjoy butchering, the actual process of like turning animals into table fare, whether it's a chicken or a pig or a deer. I thoroughly enjoy that. I like running animals on grass. I love seeing the cow go out into a pasture and mow it down. I love so many things about homesteading, and if you think that homesteading is just milking and cows, you're looking at a very limited section of homesteading. There's a lot more to it. Fortunately, Kay loves that side of things, whereas she doesn't like some of the things I like to do, and so together we make a really good team, and we're able to get a lot done on this homestead. Val wanted to know if I was wearing muck boots. Yes, love my muck boots. You can find them in our gear list, which is in the description below. And if you buy muck boots, buy them through Amazon. Use the Homesteady link. Before you go to Amazon, it will forward you to Amazon, but we'll get a bonus for sending you there, and it helps us produce this show, if you like the show. Just type in homesteady.com in the URL first, and it will forward you to Amazon. We had questions on how long we're letting the goats be on milk. They were asking, some books say 8 to 10 weeks. We're going longer with the goats. They said that's a lot of milk to be either buying, purchasing, or using of your own animals. We are using the milk on our goats. They would be weaned in many, many months, and so we talked about how we're going to keep doing milk until we move them down there, and then it's up to Kay's aunt what she does with them. As far as how long you leave any animal on milk, whether it's goats or Luna, which we were also asked in another question, how long we're going to let Luna nurse for. A lot of this has to do with your management of your herd. So as far as when you let an animal be weaned, goats off of milk, Luna, we got asked about, when we're going to wean Luna. A lot of this has to do with your particular management style, how you're choosing to run your herd. More commercial operations, larger scale operations, will wean animals much quicker, generally speaking, because for one, sharing the animal, that doesn't work in a commercial setting. If you're sharing the animal with its mother, that's not going to work for management practices at a large-scale facility. So those animals get weaned very quickly. They get put on like a milk replacer. However, on a homestead, you don't have to do that. On a homestead, there are pluses to sharing the animal, calf sharing. And we like to calf share because it gives Kendra a break from milking all the time. If we ever are running late or can't do a milking, the calf can take care of that. It's not perfect, it's a balancing act, you gotta have some plan to it, but it is a nice benefit. If you are trying to mimic more of what nature does, maybe for nutrition reasons, maybe you think it's better for the calf's rumen development, a lot of people do think that. It's better to leave a calf on longer, at least on the milk or right on the mom. So much of weaning depends on your goals and your management strategy. For us, when it comes to weaning animals, we do often mimic more of what nature does. Now, we've said this a lot, nature and agriculture are different. You are not doing the same thing in agriculture as you are in nature, so don't try to copy nature exactly. But when it comes to weaning, for the health of the animal. Leaving them on longer we feel is a better option for just the animal, the connection with the mother, plus it helps us so much in our lifestyle. Being able to calf share with Luna allows us to take a day off once in a while. We're scaling her up right now so that she can do the milking while we're away in Pennsylvania. It's a lot of benefits, plus if it can help her rumen develop better in the long run, that's good. You have to decide for yourself when you decide to have animals, and you have to decide when you're going to wean them. Are you trying to run a commercial operation? If so, then the top goals are going to be production, how much product you can sell, and ease. Management, having people working at your farm, just making it simple for them to do the processes. So you're going to have machines milking, you're going to keep things clean with the machine milkers, you're going to wean the animals right away, get them on a cheaper milk replacer, and just focus on that. Or maybe if you're doing the homestead thing, your goals are that your family be able to enjoy their life while having a milk animal. You want your calf, that one calf's going to be the future of your herd. You want her to be the healthiest, strongest she can be. So leaving her on her mother with that really healthy milk, that's going to be great for her. So just figure out what your goals and go from there. There's no hard and fast rule other than you do want to make sure a new calf gets that colostrum. That can kill an animal if it doesn't get that colostrum. And so you want to make sure in those early days they're getting that really good quality feeding. And after that, it's just up to what your goals are. So there you go. I talked about strip milking ladybug's back teats. They're very small, and so instead of a regular milking, you have to strip milk. Someone asked if those back teats would grow. No, they're not going to grow. This is her second freshening. They're not getting any bigger. If you find an animal that's never freshened, before that animal has calved or kidded, the teats are smaller looking. Once they get the milk in and they're ready to nurse, those teats do get bigger. So you don't judge an animal's teat size if it hasn't calved or kidded. You don't look at it and say, oh, but a good way to find out what you should expect is you could look at the mom. Just yesterday we went and looked at goats, and one goat that we're looking to buy, I looked at the mom, saw the teat size, and said, okay, that's what I can expect from this one. So that's just kind of a good rule of thumb. But once you've had an animal that's already freshened, ladybug's calved twice now, those back teats aren't going to change at all. So we made a video last week where we talked about the possibility of our channel being deleted. YouTube has deleted other channels that show things like we do on our channel. And I talked about having a strategy to get around that issue. So first, our strategy, I want to explain it a little bit more. There was questions on Patreon. There was questions on where do I host my videos? Do I have a server that hosts them all in case YouTube were to shut down? And also a question about how to make money off of a website. How do I make money off of a website? So let me just group all those questions together and cover it right here. If YouTube were to shut Homesteady down, I would be very sad. It would be a big, big bummer. Especially because I have this connection with you, my viewer, through YouTube, the channel. But to protect us from ever losing contact, I have an email list and a website. If you sign up to my email list, there's a link below and there'll be a link at the end of this video. You can click the card. I'll always be able to reach you through your email. I can always send you an email. Every Friday, I send emails to everybody on that list. That ensures that no matter who you are, where you are, YouTube, Facebook, whatever, if they shut our channel down or our page down, whatever it is, you still can listen and watch my videos and listen to my podcasts. That's your protection, the way you can make sure you can always see what we produce. So get on that email list. I don't spam you. I only do one email a week, and I respect your inbox. I never sell your email address. It's just you and me. It's our connection. Now, that doesn't make me any money. And if I send you 5 videos at the end of the week that are hosted on YouTube, or if they're on Facebook, I also have a Wistia account, so I have my videos in 3 different places. I don't make any money from the other places. So how can I still do this if I just am sending out emails and YouTube were to shut us down and we weren't making any money from YouTube? Well, to get around that problem, I built the Pioneer program. You can, again, click the link below to learn more, or on the card, wherever you see a link for the Pioneer program. What that is, it's $5 a month. For $5 a month, every month it's like a subscription to a magazine. You get access to bonus content at our website. So back at thisishomesteady.com, we have master classes on raising chickens, master classes on food preservation. We have master classes on raising feeder pigs. The food preservation one is taught by a culinary instructor. I teach some of them. There are other people in our bonus videos. There's a master gardening course. There's a lot of really good extra bonuses. There's extra podcasts that you can't get on iTunes or on YouTube. There's about 20 of those. There's discounts to vendors. So it's a really good program. There's a members only forum. A lot of bonus stuff. If you love Homesteady, the best way you can support us is by becoming a pioneer. And all you have to do is click right there or wherever the link is and learn more, sign up for that. And if you sign up for a whole year, you get $10 off of that program, so 2 free months. That is my strategy to if they ever shut down the YouTube channel. That's what I've been doing since day one. That's how I make money without YouTube money. And the other way you can support us is by shopping through Homesteady. Before you shop on Amazon, just type in homesteady.com and that'll forward you onto Amazon. So that's the strategy. Nothing really fancy there. Just make sure that if YouTube were to shut us down, we could still do this. And if you love Homesteady and you want to make sure it's always here, it never goes anywhere, the best thing that you can do is become a pioneer. And I appreciate that so much. So thank you in advance. Let's get to the next question. Cole asks, how much space would 2 Nubian goats need if I was to put them in a pen? Cole, good question. I need a little bit more information. I'm assuming you're talking about full-grown Nubian goats, and I don't know if you're saying full-time in the pen or just keeping them overnight in a pen. So if you're just going to keep them overnight in a pen and it's only 2, make sure the goats have enough room to stand up, walk around, lay down, and not be on top of each other. A small pen for overnight like that is just fine. Now what about if they're going to be in this pen full-time? Well, that changes things completely. You want to have a lot more space for the goats. You want to have some interesting things for them to jump on, to run on, to play on. So you're going to want more space for your goats. Most of all, though, you're going to want to interact with those goats, give them fun things to jump and play on, keep them from getting bored. As far as actual square footage for the goats, for indoor space, if it's something along the lines of 100 square feet, you know, like a 10 by 10 area for 2 does would be totally fine. But you're going to want them to have access to the outdoors. And when they go outside, if you don't have a lot of space to work with, more important than just space is keeping them happy and being able to play and be interested. So at times we kept a goat in an 8 by 8 cattle panel area, but in the middle of that area we had big rocks stacked on each other. So although she couldn't really run, she could jump and climb, and goats love to jump and climb. So the less space you have lengthwise for them to run, build it vertically so they can jump on top of things. If a couple goats have a nice big couple rocks to jump on top of and play and jump off of, that'll keep them interested. And then, you know, be sure to get in there with them and interact with them and get some energy out. Instead of having like a set amount of square footage, it's better just to focus on happy animals. Patricia asked, how did I get to the point where I could homestead full-time and make enough income to live on with YouTube? What steps did I have to take? I don't know where to start. Awesome question, Patricia. Every day there's new homestead YouTube channels starting, and it is not an easy way to make a living. It is a very fun thing to do, and if you're interested in starting a YouTube channel, I suggest that you start a YouTube channel because it's fun, because it's something you like the idea of doing. And if you hope one day to make it a full-time living, that's great. But don't start it with the idea that you're going to support yourself full-time on YouTube, because you might be very disappointed. Now, how did I do it? How did I get to this point where I can homestead and YouTube full-time? Well, first off, I did more than just YouTube. I actually started, long before YouTube, a podcast. And that podcast had one goal. I wanted to spread my farm brand. My farm's brand, I used to do on-farm classes a lot, and I wanted more people to sign up to those. So the goal was not to be a full-time content creator. The goal was just to sell more seats at my farm classes. I found that I really enjoyed content creation. I always have. It's been a hobby for me. So it started to grow more and more, and I took it more and more seriously. I put really high production values onto my work. I wanted to be the best podcast I could produce. I wanted people to think it was an NPR show. And then when we started here on YouTube, we also strive to do really good quality edits, good music, you know, make things interesting. The most important step if you want to go full-time on YouTube or any other content is building a faithful audience. And you do that by producing really good content. It can be really good quality, or it can be really high education. If you're just a genius in the homesteading world, if you're a master at something, but you're not great at editing videos, that's okay. People love really high quality information. They also like really high quality entertainment. I found with Homesteady we were somewhere in the middle. I'm not a master at any of this stuff. I do like to produce really high quality visual and audio content. So we took edutainment route, created a channel that would educate and entertain, captivate, and then you gotta stay true to your audience and focus on building that audience. If you build a big enough audience, you can make a living doing this. So the worst way to do that is to say I'm gonna make a living from YouTube AdSense. So the money you make from YouTube ads playing on your videos. If I was relying just on the YouTube money, I would still need a full-time job. I wouldn't be making enough living off of the YouTube money. So what you have to do is you build an audience, and at the same time, you do what any business owner does. You either provide a service or you provide a product. So if you can grow a huge audience, and then as that audience starts to present you with problems they have, you adapt to that audience. You say, all right, what is their problems? How can I fix their problems with either a service or a product? Well, then that audience will start to purchase and support you with your products and services. So my audience, the way I've supplied a product to them, I have the Pioneer program, which we talked about earlier. People who don't get enough Homesteady, that's their problem. Well, we give them bonus content, we give them discounts, and we provide them with content they love, which a lot of people become a Pioneer just because they want to help us keep doing this channel. In addition to that, I have worked with sponsorships in the past with different companies, called them up and just said, hey, you know what, would you like to partner on this upcoming content? It'll work really well with what you're doing. So there's that route. There are so many ways to make money if you have a large audience. But the most important thing is having a large audience and a good business plan on how to monetize that audience without taking advantage of them. So, Patricia, I know that's not a really cut and dry answer, so here is a cut and dry answer. The first step, the first thing you need to do is figure out what content do you like to produce. Is it video? Do you like being on camera? If not, could you like being on camera? Could you work through the embarrassment and the things you don't like and get good at it? Try it. Just don't try it to do a full-time living off of it. Just try to see if you can have fun doing it. If you don't like video, try a podcast. If you don't like that, write a blog. Find content you enjoy, because if you don't enjoy it, it will never work. You can learn to enjoy it, and if you think there's the ability, if you can get over the camera fright and whatever, you can get there. But focus on first doing something you enjoy. As long as you enjoy it, it'll come through on the camera. I love making videos and I love making podcasts, and I think that shows in the quality of the show that we produce. So if you love doing it, it will be good quality, then it will start to grow an audience, and at that point you need to be smarter than just growing a channel for the sake of YouTube money. So provide a product and service to that community that they can then help you go full-time. The other major big thing I did to make this possible is before I went full-time on YouTube, I worked for 3 or 4 years doing a lot of internet marketing work for clients. I made good money doing that work. I took advantage of that good money. Instead of scaling our life up, we kept living a very simple life, and we paid off debt like a machine. We just burned up the debt, because I knew when I went full-time on YouTube, I wouldn't be making as much money as I was doing the marketing work. So we paid off every debt we had. We paid it off. We burned it up in those 5 years. And now we do not have to make a lot of money, and we're not making a lot of money, but that's okay because we're living the lifestyle that we want. So scale your needs way down, get out of debt. Don't jump into YouTube if you have a ton of debt, because it will take you just forever to pay that off. That ain't gonna work. So get out of debt, scale your cost of living way down, and then while you're doing that, be building this audience. That's what I did. I took 5 years, I built an audience over 5 years while scaling down our living expenses and our debt, and now I'm able to do this. Be a full-time content creator, making just a little bit of money, but all I need is a little bit of money because we are much more interested in living the life that we want as opposed to making a bunch of, money that you put in a bank somewhere. Finally, Larson family wanted to know where we got our calf halter. I think it's Mini Jersey Supply or Mini Cattle Supply. I'll put a link down below. If you ever want to find out the gear that we use, there's a link in the description of all our videos that takes you to the gear page at our website, thisishomesteady.com. You can find all the gear we use. Most of the links are affiliate links. Some of them are not, because if they're not an affiliate but it's the gear we use, I want to make sure you use the best stuff. So that's where you can find everything, and that halter, the new halter, I will add to that list. It's not there yet, but I will add it to the list. And thank you for all your questions. We got to as many as we could this week. It is hard to cover all the questions because there are so many coming in, but we try to find the most asked questions and cover those. If you like our show and you want to make sure it doesn't go anywhere, please consider becoming a pioneer. $5 a month. It is huge. It helps us do this show, and we couldn't do it without you, Homesteady pioneers. A lot of extra bonuses for you guys, and also shopping through Homesteady before you shop on Amazon. That has been a huge help. If you want a question answered in next week's Sunday Q&A, too bad. There will be no Sunday Q&A. This is the last Sunday Q&A because we're going to move. We're going to move it to Friday. I want to take more time preparing the right answers to the questions, and I can do that midweek better than I can on a Sunday. So you will now start seeing either Friday Q&A or Saturday Q&A. I haven't decided yet. I'm going to film it on Friday, and it either might come out on Friday or it might come out Saturday, depending on how the editing process goes. If you do want to get those questions answered, just hashtag #AskHomesteady, and you'll see your question answered on Friday Q&A or Saturday. Well, you'll find out next week, so stay tuned. And definitely stay tuned because the move is imminent, and very shortly you will be getting a tour, a special tour of the new farm. We'll see you in tomorrow's video.